But let's actually look at what he did the other night, because this actually is like, this is incredible. This record, listen to records comment.
Oh.
And I want to say, I mean, I think it's incredible though, because do we have it?
Yeah, I keep knocking up.
What did you find incredible about it, Emma?
Yeah. It's the perfect opportunity.
Yes,
for
I would
me to talk.
love to give you this totally unprompted.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, a small aside, I will say what bothered me most about it is that it got no media traction except for a few articles, like Left Twitter picked it up.
Right.
Like Ryan Grimm wrote a great piece in The Intercept about it.
Yes.
But that we were just talking about fucking Julian Castro, insulting him in a way.
And not in that way.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Right.
Emma's all over the place tonight.
Jeez. Yeah.
Did you like Julian Castro discovering his inner bully?
Oh, I did. Oh, I was the only one on the TYT panel that thought he did a good thing.
I thought because first of all, I'll always stipulate, his record is terrible, head of HUD, really bad, look into it. But he seemed like the most nothing nerd bag in the world to me. And then him coming out there and be like, what, did you forget? I was like, wow, look at this nasty little bastard.
What I liked is that he went at him from the left, I guess, rhetorically.
No, he did.
And so,
yes, that's true.
And then so that's why I liked it, really. And that's why I think it was effective. Not the insult part, but that was something that, it was the elephant in the room. Are we just going to pretend that Joe Biden doesn't have major cognitive issues right now? This is like, as you say, when you talk about Bernie Sanders, this is a watershed moment in history, a huge opportunity to change our political system forever and improve lives. And we're going to like fucking play games with this guy, Joe Biden, who can't remember what he said 2 minutes ago.
Right. From precisely the same people who put an emphasis on there's nothing more important than winning. And I'll get to that in a second. All right. This is Joe Biden talking about, well, just take it from here.
To you and talk to you about inequality in schools and race. In a conversation about
let's just go over his little smile here.
He's just like, here we go. This is what I'm going to talk about. Hey,
no,
listen to me.
Scoffed.
You know what I think, lady? I think we ought to play Earth, Wind, and Fire
that's
for the
like
kids.
Even
what do
more,
you think?
That's almost more condescending than the entire thing. Is he literally scoffed as soon as she started talking about race?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I got this one. And
well, no, he interprets.
And she's black. Oh, I know what's coming here.
It's like, all right, Ungawa, Black Powers. Wait, are you Corn Pop's daughter?
No, it's Corn Pop in a wig.
Corn Pop came back.
Talk to you about inequality in schools and race. In a conversation about how to deal with segregation in schools back in 1975, you told a reporter, I don't feel responsible for the sins of my father and grandfather. I feel responsible for what the situation is today, for the sins of my own generation, and I'll be damned if I feel responsible to pay for what happened 300 years ago. You said that some 40 years ago. But as you stand here tonight, what responsibility do you think that Americans need to take to repair the legacy of slavery in our country?
Well, they have to deal with look, there is institutional segregation in this country. And from the time I got involved, I started dealing with that.
Did he mean to say racism?
Banks, making sure that we are in a position where, look, we talk about education. I propose that what we take is those very poor schools, the Title I schools, triple the amount of money we spend, from $15 to $45 billion a year. Give every single teacher a raise to the equal raise of getting out the $60,000 level. Number two,
so
make sure that we
bring. This is interesting, right? Though, because like the first part of it is really more just like, this is someone who's not in command of themselves, and they're being dishonest about their record.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Like, this isn't a problem yet.
Well,
you haven't veered off course
yet. He blurs that line all the time, where
right.
you're like, is this man not cognitively able to understand what's coming out of his mouth from second to second, or is he just lying? And I think it's both, which is like the worst mix.
Yeah,
right.
And it's a standard liberal pablum about how education can solve all of our
100%. It's, I mean, that's almost baked into the cake for me.
Right, that's not
education does not solve poverty or racism. But anyways.
In to help the teachers deal with the problems that come from home. The problems that come from home. We have one school psychologist for every 1,500 kids in America today. It's crazy. The teachers are, and I'm married to a teacher. My deceased wife is a teacher. They have every problem coming to them. We have to make sure that every single child does in fact have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds go to school, not daycare, school. We bring social workers into homes of parents to help them deal with how to raise their children.
Here we go.
Workers into the
and
home.
how to raise their children.
So there's some paternalistic bullshit there. So we moved from condescension to standard elitist liberal throwing money and education, and all you got to do is pull them up by their bootstraps and then everything's going to be all right.
Exactly.
And into the paternalism. So he's really hitting
he's hitting
he's
every
firing on all cylinders.
He's getting
well,
worse
this
and
is
worse.
Joe Biden. I mean, Joe Biden is an embodiment of everything that's bad about the modern Democratic Party.
No, and honestly,
going back to the 70s.
Like, and I maintain this. We thought Hillary Clinton was this embodiment. Like, he might even be a further. Huh?
I think they're just the same thing. I
It's
can't. It is.
She was
different.
better at least elaborating or discussing things.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, she updated her rhetoric a little bit.
I mean, but to be honest, Biden was doing that in 2000. Like, if Hillary Clinton was losing her cognitive function, it might have
Well,
been
I
less
heard she was
difficult.
having seizures left and right in 2016, so that might have affected
Oh
it.
no, another seizure.
Crazy. The teachers are reckoned. I'm
DJ
married to a
Envy,
teacher. My
are
deceased
you
wife
Martin
is a
Luther King
teacher.
Jr.'s
They
son?
have every
I
problem
like
coming
hot
to
sauce.
them. We have make sure that every single child does in fact have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds go to school, not daycare, school. We bring social workers into homes of parents to help
clear
them
on the
deal
school
with
part.
how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do.
Whoa!
Play the radio. Make sure the television. Make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words. A kid coming from
Do
a
you
very
see the
poor
way the
school.
other candidates are just like?
Wait, I
whoa.
want to
Yeah,
go
look
back.
at Kamala.
I was legit looking away.
It's hilarious how
This
the other
is
candidates.
really funny how
Can we pause it?
Yeah.
all of the other candidates kind of have exactly the type of physical embarrassment you'd expect them to have.
Yeah.
Radio. Make sure the television. Make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words. A kid coming from a very poor school.
So Kamala's looking away.
Kamala's
Bernie's
looking
looking
away.
stoically at the ground.
Bernie's just like, oh my god, and Warren's like studiously taking notes, like as if she's composing a
I don't know if
speech.
you've heard, she's a professor.
Right.
People a very poor background will hear 4 million words fewer spoken by the time they get there. There's
Thank you,
so
Mr.
much
Vice
we.
President.
No, I'm going to go like the rest of them do, twice over. Okay.
Good. Keep digging your own goddamn
Now-
grave.
If you haven't seen this, try to guess where he goes here.
Now, let me just say really quickly, I'm not going to say where, but this is both really horrible and really sad, because if you ever read like a novel, like a Kazuo Ishiguro novel or something like that, where somebody is losing their cognitive function, and if they write it well, it's terrifying and sad. They might like have a glimpse of their old self through doing something familiar. They'll like have a smell or walk the same route or something, and they'll start to like rediscover themselves for a minute. And so they'll want to cling to that. So I think in this moment, even though it seems like a non sequitur to us, Joe Biden is going to a very comfortable place in terms of his own memory and finding his identity as a person. And what do you think that might be after the race?
There's
Thank you,
so
Mr.
much
Vice
we.
President.
No, I'm going to go like the rest of them do, twice over. Okay. Because here's the deal. The deal is that we've got this a little backwards. And by the way, in Venezuela, we should be allowing people to come here from Venezuela. I know Maduro. I've confronted Maduro. Number two, you talk about the
Maduro.
need to do something in Latin America. I'm the guy
Pause
that came
it.
up with 700.
So he's just like, basically, he's like, hi, I remember destabilizing governments in Latin
It's
America.
really-
I'm, my brain's coming back. Yeah, you're a left-wing government in Latin America. You're gone. I'm remembering my memories all of a sudden. Hey, what did my wife? My wife said I suck at campaigning. What the fuck is your problem?
Oh, corn pop flashing before my eyes.
Corn pops here. You're
came
trying to
in a
give your
dream.
people health care and not have sweatshops or Fruit of the Loom in our military bases? No. Me and John McCain are going to go on a delegation and destabilize your government. John's dead? No, I'm losing it again.
backwards. And by the way, in Venezuela, we should be allowing people to come here from Venezuela. I know Maduro. I've confronted Maduro. Number two, you talk about the need to do something in Latin America. I'm the guy that came up with 740 $30 million to see to it those three countries, in fact, change their system so people don't have a chance to leave. You're all acting like we just discovered this yesterday.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Secretary Castro.
Thank you very much. No, thank you very much.
Turn on TV. I mean, the record player.
And then they don't know how to raise their kids, and you give them Cool in the Gang, and they listen and they understand words.
It's not that they don't know how to raise it. It's not that they don't want to raise their kids. It's that they have no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
So you gotta get
Unlike
social
me,
workers in
the
their
white
home.
guy who did raise kids who were struck by tragedy. Yeah, I'm going to bring that up again.
They're not raising their kids to call Maduro a dictator.
Yeah, he said Strom Thurmond said they're stupid. I said, Strom, you're my favorite person in the history of the earth, but you're wrong. They're not stupid. They just don't know anything. Read the Moynihan report.
I have a hot take about like the Simone Sanders, the people that work for this campaign. Like they're like actually doing an immoral thing by propping this man up. They're doing a deeply immoral thing, not just on a macro level. Say you really believe he's going to change the world and be a good guy. Okay, fine, right?
All right.
Say you really believe in his ideas.
That was a good opening bit.
Imagine you're a fool.
Imagine you're an
for a
absolute
second,
idiot.
Your IQ is below 20.
I just want to say really quick, and please hold the thought,
Yeah.
because this is a really important point. I was joking earlier, but honestly, like, Biden is actually the quintessential example of blame the elites and leave normal people alone. Because honestly, like when I meet normal people that don't have time for all of this and their reasons for being interested in Biden are totally sensible to me. And then people who do this for a living, who are watching this person on stage that they're working for, wow, you have a lot to answer for.
Well, it's the collective power of money and institutions, and they feel like they're hitching their ride to a very expensive wagon that will pay off for them in the end. But they're not just doing something immoral in a policy sense. That's a given. We already think his neoliberal bullshit is terrible, paternalistic, awful, terrible, whatever. So many words about it. But they're also doing something terrible on a micro level. This man should not be on stage.
It's elder abuse.
So seriously.
His teeth fell out.
And they're just like, poking him with a goddamn cattle prod and like get out there and make us money. And I'm genuinely, this man's been through a ton of personal tragedy. I think he's not a good person and not a good legislator in many aspects, but like, let the guy be. Seriously. I mean, part of it's his own ego, right? But at the same time, you have to wonder, like, the institution of his campaign, what kind of people are behind that? Because you'd have to have a really specific sense of immorality to be continuing on this train.
I totally agree with
I think
you.
a word you could start with would be opportunists.
Yeah,
Right.
pure
That's a good-
opportunism.
yeah, there we go.
Or Simone Sanders is so committed to the Sanders Project that she was like, I will go on television and make a complete and utter idiot of myself for this guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's obviously the black sheep of the 2016 campaign. She was like scuttered off as soon as Bernie, lost 2016 and has been doing nothing but
2020, I
She
can high
could,
elitist
equality.
stuff ever since.
Hey, Simone, if you're listening, you can do a lot of good work by resigning in protest of Biden and endorsing Sanders immediately if you wanted to.
Yeah,
do a
you
little bit of
could,
work.
but then she wouldn't be the person she is.
You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.